Face the Nation moderator John Dickerson is with us. He is also the new chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me begin with Michael Flynn. I mean, how do we assess this? Does he have, what might he tell the committees or anyone else that might be damning to the president?
Well, the first question is, what does it mean for him to be asking for protection? I think it could be just a lawyer doing his job,
right.
Which is to say, in this political environment, everybody wants to know what Michael Flynn knows, and everybody's claiming, particularly in this highly partisan environment, that he did this, that, and the other thing. So if you're the lawyer, you want him protected, whether he's got a good story to tell or not. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. But he's the central guy to ask. He was the president's top foreign policy advisor, so he's at the center of Russia, but then also at all the other decisions the president, or then candidate Trump, all the other things he thought about foreign policy. He was right in the center at his elbow. He would know a lot.
And he did seem to be having lots of conversations with lots of people.
That's right. And we still don't know this central question, is when he was talking to the Russians before the election, talking to the Russian ambassador before the election, and then after the election, on this key period of Russian sanctions, when the Obama administration was thinking of putting sanctions on the Russians for meddling in the election, Michael Flynn was also talking to the Russian ambassador. How much was he telling Donald Trump about that? Was he sent at President or then candidate Trump's behest? What was the back and forth? What did Donald Trump know? That is still an open question. Michael Flynn is the person you'd want to ask about that.
Well, the president has just tweeted this, John, that he should ask for immunity because this is a witch hunt.
Well, there you go. I mean, so that's both framing, because the president wants this to look like not a sign of guilt, the way the president had framed it. Right. I mean, it wasn't just Michael Flynn who framed requests for immunity as guilt. The president, when he was a candidate, did that as well. So he's trying to change the framing of the story. But again, a good lawyer would ask for immunity even if Michael Flynn...
Does he get immunity? It hasn't been granted yet.
No. Apparently it has not been granted yet. And then that's the question. I mean, part of what's happening here is the lawyer working on Michael Flynn's behalf, trying to get the best deal for his client possible. But they may not want to give immunity for a variety of other reasons. But now we have yet another storyline in this story that keeps producing more storylines.
But let's talk about Devin Nunes, who it's now been revealed that his sources were two officials from the White House. It's interesting because in the beginning he said he had to get to the White House to tell the president because his staff was not aware and the president wasn't aware. That seems to...
There are two problems.
Seems very opposite of what is happening now.
Two challenges for the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. One was he working with the White House to get the White House information out while at the same time investigating those same people in the White House? And remember, the underlying thing that he's worried about is a very serious charge, and we shouldn't lose track of that, which is that the allegation is that some people who were captured in surveillance had their names unmasked, and that would be a big deal if it were true. But that's been sort of this other story is coming here. So there's the one question, is he working with the White House that he's supposed to be investigating? The second is his credibility, because he was saying, I'm rushing to give them information that we now know he may have gotten from in the White House, in which case he was just taking calls to
Another question is who unmasked those names?
Well, that's the question. There is a formal process, as I understand, for unmasking the names, and the Chairman Nunes has said he'll get that information. It was supposed to come last week. Now it was supposed to come this week. This should be knowable. In other words, there are forms that have to be filled out to unmask people, and then the question is, were they unmasked for legitimate reasons? You can unmask them for legitimate reasons.
But my understanding, it has to come from pretty high up to get them unmasked.
It does. Now, there is also somebody I was talking to was saying, yes, it has to come from high up, but you can have kind of other people do it for you. So it may take a little digging to find out who asked for the unmasking. Was it legitimate? And then what was done with that? Was it put in lots of reports so that it could be leaked? How was it handled? I mean, and that's serious business.
And this was within the Obama administration.
Well, that's the allegation.
Right.
Well, can we just say again, congratulations. When I asked Ryan Cadro, what does this new title mean? Chief Washington Correspondent, he goes, well, it was Bob Schieffer's old title. It means that you are now the chief honcho in all.
We know who to call in Washington.
Oh, we always do that.
Congrats.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you. Thanks.